morning. Hi, I'm Pam Fox. Thanks for watching my channel. So this morning's mukbang is going to be fruit. To some people this might seem like a lot of fruit. To others it might seem like it's not enough. Like if you do raw till 4 or if you're on a raw vegan diet, you're probably thinking that's not enough food for breakfast. But I am trying to become more of an intuitive eater. I have been for about the past year or so, which just means you figure out how much your body needs based on, your size, based on your activity level, and based on your hunger and your cravings. So, and also based on, what you've got going on in a particular day. So today, I've got a big lunch already packed and we're having a family meal tonight, a family gathering tonight. So, and I've got a bunch of fruit at work, so if I get hungry, I can snack on that as well. So I'm going to start with this apricot. Isn't it cute? A friend of mine at work. Oh, it's perfect. She brought in a whole cooler of apricots, peaches, and nectarines and just told people to help themselves. I wanted to take the whole thing, but I didn't. But I did take a couple of peaches, a couple of nectarines. I took about 6 or 7 of these because nobody else was taking them. Boy, that was about a week ago. I wonder if everybody else waited for theirs to ripen like I did. They're so good and they're ripe. They're sweet. Very good. So today I thought I'd talk about kind of a continuation on what I've been talking about. Nectarine. Wow, look at the color. I was talking the other day about how amazing fruit is if you really stop and ponder it. And I really just barely touched the tip of the iceberg. You guys, do you ever think about plants and how the earth just provides them for us and just come up out of the ground? They drip from the trees. The earth provides them for us. I mean, yeah, we have to farm. We plant and we make sure our soil is healthy and we make sure our seeds get watered in that. But they volunteer too, If you've ever had a garden, you know that, you'll get plants that come back the next year that you didn't even plant. It's pretty amazing if you stop and think about it. Especially fruit trees. There's a fuzzy peach. When the fruit is ripe, when it's most beneficial and ideal for humans, it just falls to the ground. You don't have to do anything. Wow. Just how I remember as a kid. Peachy. Very peachy. But yeah, you can pick apples and you can make applesauce or an apple pie or whatever, but you can also just pick it up off the ground and eat it, can't you? It's just ready to go and it's got everything we need in it. It's really amazing and it's delicious. You can't say that about animal foods. A lot of people think that we humans are carnivorous. But how many of you have, poised and pounced upon your prey and torn it apart with your teeth and your claws? Through the fur and the hair and the skin and the fat and the bone and the tendon and the muscle and all of that and the blood. No. you got to pay somebody else to do the hard work because you don't want to be involved in the messy part. Most of us, you know. I know there are some of you out there that raise your own meat and butcher it yourself. My mom did that when I was growing up as a kid. But even then, you know, you bring home, let's say you bring home a pork chop, you know, or a steak. You're not just going to eat it out of the package. You're probably going to, you know, you might marinate it or dry rub it, put a sauce on it. You're going to cook it, obviously, so it can be safe to consume. You don't have to cook a peach for it to be safe to consume. You know, you got to do all that stuff just for it to be safe and for it to taste, you know, palatable. And I know it's good, don't get me wrong. I know it tastes good in the end of the process, but just take a look at the two products. Compare the two. Not only do plants give us everything the body needs, you can't say that about animal foods. With the exception of vitamin B12. Yes, I know. But from all the reading that I've done, experts agree that vitamin B12, it's not something that people make, it's not something that animals make. It exists in the soil. And so if you're getting vitamin B12 as a carnivore, it's because you're eating animal foods that got their vitamin B12 from the soil or from supplements, you know, farmed animals supplements. I don't know. And so modern day soils apparently are quite deplete of vitamin B12. Especially, you know, in food like this, because you bring it home and you wash it, and a lot of it gets washed. You know, a lot of food gets washed before, like potatoes, for example. They get scrubbed and washed before they even hit the supermarket. And you bring home and wash them again. Anyway. So I take a vitamin B12 supplement. All right. So glorious, glorious mango. Oh my goodness. So sweet. But what I really wanted to talk about today was this continuation of, you know, self-esteem, loving yourself, confidence. My neighbor's looking out the window at me. Closed his curtain. He's quite a ways away. Anyway, you know, I kind of made the comment, well, I did make the comment that a person who eats an entire bucket of KFC has a lot to learn about loving themselves. And I just wanted to quickly expand upon that because if a person's hungry, they'll eat anything. It doesn't have anything to do with their confidence level, right? If a person's hungry enough, I don't care if they're a vegan. You know, if a vegan is starving, if they're on a raft in the middle of the ocean and they haven't eaten for 30 days, you know, and a ship picks them up, wraps a blanket around them and hands them food, they're going to eat it. I don't think they're going to care what it is. If you're starving, you'll eat. And so, you know, I was talking about how that person, you know, has a lot to learn about loving themselves. So that's not entirely true. I mean, it's true that if you're not taking care of your body, if you're abusing your body, then you're not being very loving towards your body, and you need to learn how to love yourself. That is true. But in my opinion, even if you eat one piece of chicken, you're not taking very good care of your body. And that's not a judgment. It's not a judgment at all. I've been a meat eater my whole life. So when I look at other people and they're obviously sick and they're obviously depressed and they're obviously struggling, and I'm watching them and I see the food that they eat and I know how they've gotten there, I make that connection that it's the food is why they're heavy and they're sick and they're depressed and they're not doing well. I don't look at that person and sit in judgment. I feel sorry for those people. I'm surrounded by people every single day that, in my opinion, I look at these people and I think to myself, you know, I can't believe it, but these still aren't totally ripe. They're really, really good in the center, and then more towards the outside, they're still a little chewy, but they're really good. I've got 2 more out of that 6-pack. I think, yeah, I've got 2 more. But yeah, I look at people and I desperately wish I could just take them and say, listen, you don't have to be sick. You don't have to be in pain. You don't have to be overweight. It's the food, it's the food, it's the food, it's the food. I desperately want to do that with people. That's why I have this channel. I can't do that. I can't go up to every single person I know and love and just hound them and tell them over and over and over, you're eating the wrong food, you're eating the wrong food, the food is making you sick. The food is why you're sick. But I can have this channel. And if people want to come to me and they want to hear it, here I am. And a lot of people don't believe it. You know, I wasn't sure when I first started. I wasn't sure if it was the food. People on YouTube were telling me it was the food. It just sounded too good to be true. My whole life, I have sought answers to my poor health. But I've been looking for, you know, a particular cure for this particular disease and a particular treatment for this particular ailment. You know what I mean? Like thinking that I'm going to find the miracle cure for A and the miracle cure for B. When it turned out the miracle cure was a plant-based diet and it cured almost everything that was wrong with me. Now, while it's true that my health has improved tremendously and miraculously, and I couldn't be happier, my vegan diet didn't cure everything. It wasn't enough to cure everything. Let's see. I still have dandruff. Of all things. You know, it cured my allergies and my eczema and my acne. Why not my dandruff? My dandruff is 100 times better, but I still have it. And maybe in time maybe it will heal. I don't know. I have a skin condition where if I get an itch and I reach up and scratch it, you can see my claw marks. It'll raise up, it'll be red and swollen. It'll just look like a cat just attacked me and I just scratched myself. And then all those scratch marks raise up and you can visually see them. So if I were to take my finger right now, well, I can't do it anytime. It has to be itching. There has to be like, you know, that's a response to an itch. But I could write like a word in my arm and you'd be able to see it. And it's not just my arm, it's my whole body. That's gotten a lot better as well, but I still have it. So you could say that, you know, the plant-based diet, you know, it's done a lot for me, but it wasn't enough to, you know, do everything for me. Maybe in time, I don't know. But I don't know. The point is, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything, but I'm convicted that their health could improve on a plant-based diet. I don't know that for certain. And there's only one way that you can find out, and that's to try. And that's why I tried. I realized that was the only way I'd ever known. You know, something sounds too good to be true. There's only one way to find out if it is or not. Okay. Breakfast is complete. So, yeah, you know, I've been a meat eater my whole life. I've been sick my whole life. And, you know, I discovered this diet and I'm so thankful. I am just so beyond thankful. Every single day, I am so thankful. So thankful. But I look around. It's very frustrating to feel like you have discovered something really, really big and wonderful and want to share it with all of the people around you that could benefit from it. And most people just aren't interested. They're just not interested. And I'm convinced that it's because people think it's going to be too hard. And it's really not. I don't know. My husband always tells me, oh, you just say that because I cook all your food. Well, he doesn't cook all my food. He didn't cook this. I made my own breakfast. I make my own breakfast every day. And I pack my own lunch every day. And he cooks dinner at night. Most days. Honestly, if I were still a single woman and I discovered this diet, I'd probably would have lost even more weight because if I were to cook my own dinner, I'd probably be more strict about the fat content, whereas he will put in, you know, he will cook with oils, or he will buy, you know, vegan replacement foods that are higher in fat, which are delicious, and I really, really enjoy and appreciate those meals. But you know, if I were on my own, I would probably just eat food like this all the time, and more simple foods like, you know, just simple sauces, low-fat sauces, and pastas and rices. But anyway, it's really not that hard. And I think I'm just going to leave you with this one last thought, that there is a lot of support right here on YouTube. If you find encouragement and inspiration in my channel, I'm here for you. If you've got any questions, or if you'd like me to make a specific video, post it in the description box below, and I'll answer your questions, or I'll make an entire video on a topic that you would like me to talk about. I'd love to be here to encourage you. I just got a text from my mom, my mother-in-law. But, and if you don't find encouragement or inspiration from me, oh my gosh, just look around on YouTube. And if you're like me and you're fairly new to YouTube, I mean, I didn't even know this thing existed. I'd heard of it, but I didn't really know exactly what it was. I just thought it was a place to go to get like information on, you know, how to fold a napkin or something, you know, how-to stuff. But there are a lot of people on YouTube with a message, you know, and, you know, you got to find someone that you can relate to, someone that's, you know, has gotten the results that you're looking for, and someone who is, you know, passionate about their message. And there are a lot of vegans, a lot of plant-based vegans on YouTube that are doing just that, just like I'm doing. Many of them, you know, their channels are more towards educating people. So they're exposing, you know, the meat, dairy, and egg industry. Time to go to work. They do videos, educational videos, you know, on the danger, you know, on nutrition and the body and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, you got to find maybe one or two people that you can relate to, that you feel you're receiving a lot of encouragement and inspiration from. Maybe they do all cooking videos, because you need to learn how to cook. There's just a ton of support here on YouTube. So find some people, you know, watch some videos while you're exercising is a great time to watch, you know, YouTube videos. Hop on a treadmill, turn on your phone and watch YouTube and get that, you know, source of encouragement for the day. All right. So this has been fun. I thank you for being here. Thanks for watching.